Alright, good afternoon my YouTubers. So I know you guys were really excited about today. Today is August the 24th and this is our first YouTube video for 2018. Me and Ms. Kiago are really excited to go ahead and review this question with you. This is not your homework yet. I'm just going to show you how to answer this question because on the problem after this, you guys are going to have to turn it in on Monday, August the 27th for full credit. So this one says a small ant crawls 2/5 of a foot every 2/3 of an hour. What we want to figure out is how far does this ant crawl in an hour, and then we want to figure out about how many inches this is later on. But first let's answer this question. How far does this ant crawl in an hour? Well, step one, I want to set up my ratio. So here's my ratio. A ratio, if you remember, is a comparison of two quantities. So quantity number one is our 2/5 of a foot. So I'm going to write my 2/5 of a foot right here. I'm going to make my colon symbol because this denotes that I'm going to go ahead and compare 2/5 of a foot to another quantity. A quantity is a number that represents a person, place, or thing. The other thing that we're going to represent is 2/3 of an hour. So I'm going to write my 2/3 of an hour, and these are going to be the two quantities that I'm going to compare. So now, step number two, I'm going to go ahead and use the reciprocal to go ahead and turn my 2/3 of an hour into an hour. Now, a lot of you guys already know that an hour is a total of 1 hour. This is the quantity that I'm going to use the reciprocal for. If this is what I want to turn into 1, then this 1 hour has to be turned into 1 hour from the 2/3 of an hour. Here's how we learned how to do that. We multiply the reciprocal. The question is do you guys remember what the reciprocal of 2/3 is? Well, the reciprocal is going to be when you take the denominator and put it on your numerator. And when you take the numerator and put it on your denominator. A lot of my students, you guys like to say in class that we're going to flip it or we're going to switch it upside down, but its formal name is called the reciprocal. Now I use my same reciprocal over here to multiply this quantity 2/5 of a foot. So I'm going to take 3/2. This is going to give me 3 times 2 on the numerator, which is 6. And 2 times 3 on the denominator, which is 6. This is going to give me a total of 1 hour. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to go ahead and find out how many feet in 1 hour this small little ant is going to crawl. So now let me go ahead and complete this by going ahead and saying 3 times 2 on this numerator is 6. And 2 times 5 on this denominator is 10. And that's how many feet this ant is going to crawl in an hour. Now, if you guys remember in class, I gave you 5 steps. We're on step 4 now. You should have written these 5 steps in your notebook like I asked you to. And step 4 is to reduce if you can. Is there a number that we can reduce 6 and 10 by? Yes, there is. It's the greatest common factor, which is 2. So I'm going to reduce both of the numerator and the denominators by dividing them by 2. This is going to give me the ant crawls 3/5 of a foot per hour. And now you know how many of a foot this ant crawled every hour. Now, some of you guys get to the second part of this question, and this is in your study guide, question number 4. And we have to figure out, okay, but how many inches is this? So we have to convert this into inches. So I'm trying to take 3/5 of a foot and turn it into inches. So 3/5 of a foot. This is what the ant crawls every hour. But I can write this a little differently because how many inches are in a foot? A lot of you guys are saying 12. There's 12 inches in a foot. So I'm going to go ahead and write 3/5 of 12 inches. These are the same things. 3/5 of a foot and 3/5 of 12 inches are the exact same quantity. Now this is what we've been studying for 3 days. What does the word of mean to do in math? That's right, a lot of you guys right now are sitting at home thinking it means to multiply. So I need to multiply 3/5 times 12 inches. Here's where you're going to go ahead and need to multiply these two fractions together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 3/5 of the quantity 12 inches. But this, a lot of your teachers already taught you, is really 12 over 1. So now I'm going to multiply 3/5 times 12 over 1. We take our two numerators and we multiply and we get 36 inches. We take our two denominators and we multiply and we get 5. Here's where a lot of you guys have trouble converting this into a whole number of inches. What we do is we always take the numerator and we always divide the denominator into it. So we're going to go ahead and take our numerator, 36 inches, and divide it by 5. 5 times 7 is 35. So at least I'm going to get 7 whole times I can divide 36 by 5. This is going to give me 35 with the remainder of 1. Now here's where I like to go ahead and know I could turn this into 7 inches. I take my remainder and make it my numerator. I take my divisor and make it my denominator. But some of you guys might not be able to round properly because we want to know about how many whole inches this is. So instead of turning this into 7 1/5, let's turn this into the equal number of decimal equivalents this would be. So I'm going to go ahead and add my decimal to 36 with my 0/10 and bring down my 0 here. I'm going to add my decimal to the whole number of 7, and 5 goes into 10 2 times exactly with no remainder. Now a lot of you guys remember your rules for rounding. If this number in the 10th place is a 4 or lower, I round down to 7 inches. If this number in the 10th place is a 5 or higher, I round up to 8 whole inches. So now I'm going to write, this is about 8 inches, I'm sorry, 7 inches per hour. And that's how I do a problem like this. So now that I know that this ant crawls about 7 inches per hour, I'm done answering how far this ant crawls every hour. It's 3/5 of a foot, which is about 7 inches every single hour. Here's your homework problem now. Now I want you guys to take out a strip of paper. I want you guys to use this whole 8.5 by 11 piece of paper to write down a problem that I'm going to give you. And I want you guys to turn it in to me on Monday, August the 27th. So you can definitely go back and use this as notes. But when you're done writing down your next problem, I want you guys to write that problem down, pause the video, and then try to answer it on your own. When you guys are done answering it on your own, I want you to go ahead and then unpause your video. Check to see if you did it correctly, because I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do it, but I want you to pause it and see if you can do it by yourself. Me and Miss Kiabu are really counting on you to be honest. So, this is your homework problem. And here's what we're going to give you. A snail is going to go ahead and crawl 5/6 of a foot, and I'll go ahead and put feet here, every half hour. Here's your job. How far does this snail crawl every hour? And of course, you need to figure it out in feet and then convert it to inches. Copy down this question on a strip of paper, a whole piece of paper, not just a strip, a whole sheet of it. And then pause the video and see if you can go ahead and figure out what this is. You're trying to figure out how many feet it crawls in 1 hour and change those feet into estimate how many inches that is every hour. I'll wait for you guys to pause the video. All right, welcome back. So I know you guys unpaused the video and you guys were waiting to go ahead and see me. You guys were going ahead and answering this question on your own. Step 1, set up your ratio. This is step number 1 right here. Now I'm literally going to write down the steps that I made you guys write in your notebook in class. Here's my ratio. 5/6 of a foot to half of an hour. We always use the colon to compare two quantities. Step number 2. Multiply the reciprocal. The reciprocal that you're going to be using for this problem is whatever unit needs to be turned into 1. This is every 1 hour. That means I'm trying to turn half of an hour into 1 whole hour. This is the quantity that I'm going to be using its reciprocal for. So what's the reciprocal of 1 over 2? 2 over 1. So I'm going to multiply by 2 over 1 here. And I'm going to multiply by 2 over 1 for the 5/6 feet. Now let me go ahead and multiply this for step number 3. Let me get a unit quantity. This is going to be 1 times 2, which is 2 on the numerator. The denominator is going to be 2 times 1, which is 2 on the denominator. This is my unit quantity. This is step 3. I'm getting a unit quantity. 2 over 2 is 1 hour. Now let me multiply 5 times 2. This is going to be 10. And 6 times 1. This is going to be a denominator of 6 feet every hour. Now I want to go ahead and let you know that this is not your answer, because some of you might be thinking, I'm done. But you're forgetting step 4. Step 4 is to always reduce if you can. You're always supposed to reduce. So you have to reduce this quantity. So we're going to go ahead and take what we have here. And we're going to say, okay, step 4. Let's reduce this if we can, because we've already gotten our unit quantity. Step 3 in your notebook should have been in today's warm-up. Find the unit quantity. 2 over 2. This is 1 hour. So you found the unit quantity. Now let's reduce 10 over 6 feet. What numbers can you divide? Well, we've been planning to use the GCF. We've been studying that since the first week of school. What's the GCF of 10 and 6? That's right, it's 2. So let me go ahead and divide the numerator by 2 and the denominator by 2. I'm going to go ahead and get 5/3 feet per hour. But now someone would say, well, about how many inches is this? So if I'm going to go ahead and try to find how many inches this is, I'm going to go ahead and divide my numerator by my denominator. And I'm going to go ahead and take this and get 1, because 3 goes into 5 one time. I'm going to get a remainder of 2 here. I'm going to get 1 2/3 feet per hour. Here's where a lot of people are going to get stuck. They don't know how to turn 5/3. They don't know how to turn 1 2/3 feet into inches per hour. Well, we went over this. We use this quantity to go ahead and multiply as 12 inches instead. We don't want to take 5/3 we want to take 5/3 times 12 inches. So here's what hopefully you did was, you went ahead and you multiplied 5/3 multiplying, instead of a foot, you multiplied 12 inches. The reason why this is going to be okay is because 12 inches is a foot. So you're really multiplying by the same quantity. 12 inches is 1 foot. They're equal to each other. So here, I'm going to go ahead and get 5 times 12 is 60 inches. Okay? And now I'm going to go ahead and get 3 times 1. And this is going to go ahead and give me 60 divided by 3 equals 20 inches. So we don't want to go ahead and just put 20 inches if we can. Even though I'll take 20 inches, and this snail is going to definitely crawl 20 inches every single hour. We can actually convert that into feet and inches. How many inches are in a foot again? 12 inches. So let's see here. 12 inches. This is equal to 1 whole foot plus 8 inches. This equals 20 inches. So this is 1 foot and 8 inches per hour. And hopefully you checked your answer. Well, this is it for today, my YouTubers. You guys have a good one, and hopefully I'll see you guys the next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.